Probably the biggest weekend of any rodeo contestant that I can find over the second weekend of January was turned in by the lady that's joining us right now, Jo Halbert, barrel racer from Texas, won both the rodeo in Odessa and the big San Antonio qualifier in Uvalde. Jo, welcome.
Hi, thanks, Steve, for having me. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you. Horse called Ms. Melania. Tell me about her.
She is a 2017 Bay Mare by Trace Ace out of Michaela. She is a daughter of Make It Anywhere. She started out her career running on the racetrack and wasn't too great about it. She didn't like the starting gates, apparently. I bought her in October of last year, and we've just been she had done really well her futurity year. She'd won about $130,000 with Jody Miller. And so we bought her and brought her home. There was one more futurity that she was going to get to run in and was entered at whenever we bought her. So that was my very first futurity ever. And she ended up winning second there and winning, I think, around 20,000. And then our goal all along was to take her to the rodeos. The reason we actually bought her is because I had a mare named Fury on the Run that was very, very special to me. She had an accident at a rodeo in the summer of 2022. Right. And so that made us have to start looking for another horse because we've always had the goal of qualifying for the NFR one day. And one thing led to another, and God opened the door for us to own Melania. And so it's kind of gone from there.
Some barrel racers fall in love with bloodlines. Are you a big Trace Ace fan?
She is the very first Trace Ace I've ever ridden.
Really?
I've always liked them. I thought they were really talented and really fast. I didn't fall in love with her necessarily because of her bloodlines, but because of her style. I had watched a couple videos on Facebook, and it was effortless for her. It's just always been so easy for her, and she wants to run the barrels and do the right thing.
You were 14-14 in Odessa. Shelly Morgan was second with a 14.33, $5,956. How well had you done in Odessa in the past?
I've only placed there one time before, and I think I ended up in the top 5. That was actually Melania's very first rodeo a year ago, so it was super special that she came back and won the rodeo. I had absolutely no idea that she was going to do that or could do that because it's kind of a tough pin. So I was really, really proud of her and how well she worked. And honestly, she ran that pattern on her own because I was falling off the entire time. She was so strong and so quick in her turns that she kind of unseated me, and I was just holding on for dear life.
Well, there you go. That might be a strategy for the future. Just saying, scare the heck out of you, but it might be a strategy for the future.
Yes.
And then I think you ran in Odessa first, if I've got my schedule right. And then you went down to that San Antonio qualifier in Uvalde, which all by itself is a pretty good paying rodeo. They paid out over $200,000. And tell me about the format there, Jo, because you won the first go round with a 15-10. That paid almost $4,900. The second round, you were 15-18, but it paid $2,040. So I'm assuming it was a progressive. Or you were second, I should say, in the second round with a 15-20, and that paid $1,530. Jimmy Cox won the second go round, and that paid a little over $2,000. And then you won the 2-head average, so it was a progressive. Am I right in thinking that?
Yes, sir. The top 20 from the first go around got to come back for the short round, which was a Friday, Saturday performance. And it was a random draw who got up on Friday or Saturday. And after that, they took the top 10 from the 2-head average to San Antonio.
That money counts toward the NFR. That was roughly $11,000. So my math isn't real good, but $11,000, almost $6,000 in Odessa. That's like $17,000 last weekend.
Yes, sir. It was a very good week for us.
You have been, so now you get to go to San Antonio, which is next month. You told me before we started, you've competed there one other time. How did you do?
I didn't have any luck. My older mare, she didn't run super hard in that pen, and my younger mare, it was a lot of atmosphere, and she didn't really know how to handle it, and it kind of scared her, so she didn't run super great. But we're hoping that this year we have the experience, and I know my horse this year very well, and I'll be able to prep her and have her as prepared and ready as we can have her.
I have 2 final questions real quick. Number 1, tell me the Katie Jo story. What got you into falling in love with this whole barrel racing thing?
I always loved horses. My dad and my grandpa, they kind of rodeoed a little bit. My dad rodeoed until he was in high school, and once he graduated high school, he didn't rodeo again. But I just always had the horse fever. I always loved horses, and I wanted to do something with horses. And I went to a local horse camp here
Hmm.
in Victoria, Texas, when I was a kid because I didn't have my own horse. So we went to camps, and she showed me about the barrel pattern. And after that, I begged and begged and begged for years for my parents to buy me my first horse. I mean, I was looking on ASPCA on the websites trying to adopt horses, all the things. And so my brothers played football pretty well in high school. So our Friday nights were under the Friday night lights. We were at football games, so I had to wait until my brothers graduated high school, and I got to my first barrel horse when I was a freshman in high school. And
There are
it's
a lot of rodeos you can go to. There's all the American qualifier stuff going on. There's Denver. There's Fort Worth. There's what's your schedule?
our schedule. So we didn't qualify for Fort Worth this year. I chose not to go to the Denver qualifier because I didn't think that was a pin that would really suit my horse very well. And so we opted out of going to Denver as well. I'm up at the Texarkana Showdown. It's a barrel race next week. So we're going to go to that next week.
Awesome. Well, you had a great weekend, $17,000, and there's a lot of time to go to qualify for the National Finals Rodeo, but that was maybe 20% of what you're going to need for the year right there last weekend. We'll see how it works out. Katie Jo, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.